So we discussed regarding the concept of respiration. We only dealt with the concept of the parts of respiratory system, and we also learned how respiration occurs in aquatic organisms. Today we are dealing with the respiration in human beings. So all of you switch on your video. Let us begin the session. Right. Okay. So this is the respiratory system in human beings. Our respiratory system starts with the nasal cavity. It will go to the nostril. Okay. So this is a nostril, the opening, and the inner one, the space is called as nasal cavity. Then after that, it will go to the pharynx. Then trachea, you can see the trachea over here. A C-shaped rings are there in between. Let me tell you, see, this is a trachea. So this trachea, what happens to the windpipe will be there, which is a very smooth. So that trachea will be covered with the C-shaped structures, which are called as cartilaginous rings. So why? Because to protect the inner windpipe from the air currents, the trachea has been protected by the cartilaginous rings. So this trachea, once it enters the lungs, it divides into certain branches. Okay, that branch of trachea, once it enters lungs, no, that branch is called as bronchus. Bronchus singular, bronchi plural. That bronchus again it divides. To form bronchioles. The branches of bronchi or bronchus is bronchioles. Let me show you. Okay, just a minute. Yeah, see here, this is a trachea. What you are seeing, this is a primary bronchus, the branch, the first branch. Again, you are seeing many branches over here, no? So these are called as bronchioles. See here, these are called as bronchioles. Fine. Next, what happens here? How actually the breathing or respiration takes place? So first, oxygen-rich air from the environment. So in the environment, the air which is rich in oxygen enters through our nostrils, enters into our nasal cavity. After nasal cavity, it moves. To this one, pharynx. It moves to the pharynx. Okay. Next, after pharynx, it moves to the trachea. You are observing, it moves to the trachea here in this part. After trachea, it moves to the bronchus, okay, or bronchi we can call, right? Just a minute. Yeah, bronchi. After bronchi, it goes to the branches of bronchi or branches of bronchus, which are called bronchioles. After bronchioles, it will go to alveoli. So what is alveoli? Alveoli are the bag-like or a sac-like structure which are present at the tip of bronchioles. What they will do? Let me show you the diagram of it. Here, see, this is a alveoli. Okay, this whole thing what you are seeing, no, this is a alveoli or alveolus, singular alveolus, plural alveoli. So every bronchiole will be there. No, this bronchiole will ends with this kind of structure, air sacs. So you can see that, girls. So here the alveoli will be covered with the blood vessels. Whatever you are observing, red color, blue color, no, those are nothing but the blood vessels, the pipes which carry the blood. Okay. So the blood which is rich in oxygen comes to the alveoli. So that will get exchanged at the alveoli. What will happen? Alveoli the lane agate, exchange of gases takes place. So that oxygen rich blood will be there, no? It exchanges oxygen. Okay, it gives the oxygen to the alveoli, and in turn, alveoli or the blood vessels in that gives carbon dioxide. So exchange of gases takes place. See here, oxygen will enter in, carbon dioxide will goes out. So like this exchange of gases takes place in the alveoli. After that, you can see alveoli exchange of gases took place. Then oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange at alveoli occurs. Then through the bronchioles, the blood which is rich in carbon dioxide. I am repeating, please listen to it. The blood which is rich in carbon dioxide, the air which is rich in carbon dioxide goes to the bronchioles, then again bronchi or bronchus, again trachea, trachea to pharynx, pharynx to nasal cavity, and we will release the carbon dioxide rich air to the atmosphere or into the environment. So like this exchange of gases takes place, or movement of oxygen and carbon dioxide occurs in and out of the respiratory system. You can ask me, what about oxygen rich blood? So that oxygen rich, whatever oxygen you intake or whatever oxygen you inhaled, that will be carried out to every cell of our body by the blood. So how blood comes, ma'am? Till now you are saying air, air, air. So here, whatever oxygen we inhaled in the form of air, it will be dissolved in the blood. It gets dissolved in the blood and it will be transported to every cell of the body. Once it gets transported, cell will work according to their need. All the cells will start working, okay, and they produce the waste. The waste will be in the form of carbon dioxide. And again, that carbon dioxide rich blood will come to the alveoli. Again, oxygen rich air will be taken. So like this exchange of gases takes place in a cyclic way through our respiratory system. I hope you understood this process. Both of you understood this? Shreya and Panchami? Okay, any doubt? Panchami and Shreya, any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No doubts.
Okay. So, Panchami, in the last session, did whether I said you to draw the diagram? Panchami?
No, ma'am.
No.
No.
Okay, fine. So, can you tell me the last point in the last session? What you wrote in the last session? Can you just let me know? Because Shreya was absent for that session, so I am asking you. What we
Yes,
wrote in the
ma'am.
last session?
Ma'am, we actually draw a diagram of breakdown of glucose by various pathways.
Okay, just a minute. This we wrote, na? Okay,
Yes,
fine.
ma'am. Yes.
Now, put the heading respiration in human beings. Respiration in human beings. Put the heading respiration in human beings. Okay. Completed.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. After that, put the heading mechanism of respiration. Mechanism of respiration. Then draw this flow chart. Be careful while drawing this flow chart. It is very important and it is not given in the textbook. I told you, I'm telling you to draw because if you understand this flow chart, it is very easy to write the answer. That is why. So, like this, you have to write oxygen-rich blood, nasal cavity, pharynx, trachea, bronchi. After bronchi, here it is. Don't go here. No, don't go this side. Okay. Below the bronchi itself, you have bronchioles. That you have to write. It is in a cyclic path like this. Okay. Please note down carefully. Once you complete it, let me know. Once you complete, let me know. Both of you got it, what I said?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What about Panchami?
Completed, ma'am.
Fine. Okay. Fine. So this is regarding the mechanism of respiration where oxygen-rich air, first it will go to nasal cavity, then pharynx, then it goes to tracheae, bronchi, bronchioles, alveoli, oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange of gases takes place where alveoli, then again carbon dioxide rich air will go to bronchioles, bronchi, trachea, pharynx, nasal cavity, and to the environment. Like this, the mechanism of respiration takes place in our body. After that, I want you guys to write down or draw this diagram. This is more clear. So draw this diagram along with the alveoli. Can you guys draw it, please? Rihan, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Okay. Draw this diagram, and I insist you to see the recorded session. Only few concepts I explained just now. Okay. So all of you draw this
Yes.
diagram and let me know soon. Complete it soon, please. Completed all of you?
Yes, ma'am. Finished.
Okay. What about others? Panchami and Shreya?
Yes, ma'am.
Shreya, did you finish?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. Next, we have transportation in human beings. So, what all we discussed in the last episodes? Digestion occurred. So, we got the simplest food like glucose, amino acids, and fatty acid and glycerol. So, that nutrients is absorbed by all the cell along with the help of the blood. Then after that, after the nutrients once reach, they have to give us energy. So that energy will be given by the other process, the next process, that is respiration. So in the presence of oxygen, the glucose will break down to release energy. So once the energy is released, the energy has to be transported to all the cells of the body. That will be done by the other life process, which is called transportation. So who will do transportation in human beings? What is the process? What all parts are involved in that? That we are going to discuss in this concept. So as you can read here, transportation in human beings, the human body they termed as complex machine because it requires various systems to work efficiently, to keep the man healthy, to keep the human beings healthy. So the role of transportation is undertaken by two fluids. The first one is blood and the next one is lymph. So together this blood and the other parts which are involved in circulation, which are involved in transportation, that parts together form a system which is called as circulatory system. What this circulatory system will do? This system will be involved in transporting the essential substances to all the cells of the body and also collecting the waste from all the cells of the body and sending it for filtration. So this all transportation work in our body will be done by blood. So first let us learn regarding the blood, then let us learn regarding parts involved in circulatory system. Understood the introduction part, all of you? Artha aita?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Fine. Next. So as I said, the transporting fluid in our body is nothing but a blood. So it is red in color. We know that why. It is due to the presence of a pigment. Pigment andre coloring substance or respiratory substance anta. Okay. So that respiratory pigment is made up of iron. Hemoglobin anta ide alva. This heme is nothing but a iron. Okay. So when you observe iron, the purest color, the color of a purest iron will be reddish brown in color. So due to that, we have our blood is red in color. Next, blood is a connective tissue. Blood is a connective tissue means it connects many systems. It connects many organs. Tissue means a group of cell anta. So all the blood cells are made in the bone marrow. One nimisha. From the cells called stem cells. You remember only this. The cells will be present in the blood. Blood has a specialized cells in it. So those cells are formed in a part called as bone marrow. Those cells, the blood cells will be there, no? Those are formed in the bone marrow. This is a brief introduction about the blood. So in the blood, we have variety of components, variety of things which actually helps the blood or which actually makes the blood to flow. So what is the composition of blood? To know the components, which all components are present in the blood, what we have to do means take a 1 to 2 drops of a blood in a test tube, or we can say centrifuge tube. Centrifuge tube andre, it will be like a test tube only, but it is bigger. So then after that, put it in a centrifuge machine. So when you put a test tube and centrifuge means you have to just roll like this, it will rotate like this. So when it rotates after certain rotation, the blood will be separated. You can get to know the components of the blood. So see here, like this you will get the first thing will be there. No, it will be light in color, a transparent, somewhat transparent color. So that component is called as plasma. So that will be containing 55. That is, blood consists of 55% of plasma. If you consider blood as 100%, 55% of blood will become made up of plasma. So after plasma, you can see a buffy coat, a oily layer like thing. So this oily layer like thing which appears, no, it will be consisting of leukocytes and platelets. Leukocytes and platelets andre blood cells idu. Leukocytes ke we will call it as, according to, as per your textbook, it is regarded as WBCs, white blood cells. White blood cells or leukocytes and platelets are present in this buffy coat. Then after that, at a bottom, you will be getting a red color liquid, which will be consisting of RBC. What is RBC? Red blood cells. So these red blood cells will be having, these red blood cells will be like this, biconcave in shape, will be like this, guys. So on the membrane of the cell, on the layer of the cell, hemoglobin is present. Hemoglobin, a respiratory pigment. So due to the presence of hemoglobin, these cells are red in color. And what is the function of it? To transport oxygen. Red blood cell transport oxygen. How? Because hemoglobin is present on the membrane, on the layer of that cell. I hope you understood this. All of you got this? How we will find composition of blood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Rihan, any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Just write the heading, transportation in human beings. Transportation in human beings, and write down this point. I marked C with a red color in a bracket. Write down this. Once you complete, let me know.
Finished, no, ma'am.
Okay. What about others?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Completed.
Next. Put the heading blood. Put the side heading blood. Next point. Then write first 2 points. Write first 2 points. Put the heading blood and write first 2 points.
Okay.
Completed, ma'am.
Completed.
Sorry. Put the heading composition of blood. Then after composition of blood, write down these 3. Red blood cells RBC, white blood cell WBC, platelets 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4 there. Don't write plasma. Write down these 3. Then after that you write one sentence. Blood contains a fluid. Blood contains a fluid called a fluid named plasma. Blood contains a fluid named plasma. If you don't understand the handwriting, let me know. Completed? Completed all of you? Don't write the
Yes, ma'am.
diagram and all. Only this you write. Raya and Panchmi completed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. Next. Okay. So as I said regarding the plasma, it consists of 55%. 55% of the blood will be consisting of plasma. So what all it contains? It contains plasma when you consider it as 100%. When you consider plasma as 100%, 90% of plasma will be made up of water. Okay. Then other 10% will be consisting of proteins, digested food, that is nutrients, common salt, waste products like carbon dioxide and urea, and other hormones. So what does this plasma do? It carries all the dissolved substances, whatever we read now. It carries proteins, it carries common salt, it carries waste product to the targeted parts, to the targeted organs, or to another part of the body. For example, carbon dioxide has to be carried to the lungs. Okay. Then urea has to be carried to the kidneys. So like that, it will transport the dissolved substances into other part of the body. Next, red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets. So these all cells are there, no? These all cells will be found floating in the plasma. These all cells will be immersed in the plasma. So plasma is a fluid part of a blood, and it is a colorless liquid. It will consist of 90% of water. It contains these substances. And what is the function? It carries all the dissolved substances from one part of the body to another part of the body. Understood regarding the plasma? All of you understood? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, write the side heading plasma. Write the side heading plasma. This chapter is too wide, and writing is also more in this chapter. So don't get bored, because the notes, I mean, you can't read the textbook always. That is why I converted those sentences in the form of points. So write side heading plasma, then write this point, the first point, then write second point, third and fourth. Then after that, this point is there, no? Write the side heading as function. Function the haki. Then you write this point, the bracket, which I enclosed in a bracket, that one. Completed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What about Shreya and Rehan?
Completed, ma'am.
Okay,
Completed, ma'am.
fine. So this is about the plasma. Next we have regarding the RBCs, I guess. Just a minute. Yeah. So the next whatever you are seeing, no, these are the RBCs or red blood cells. These are also called as erythrocytes. What is the other name of it? Erythrocytes. Panchmi, can you read out the slide, please? Just read out the points, whatever it is presented on a slide. Panchami, can you read out the slide?
Yes. Red blood cells are in red in color due to the presence of a red pigment called hemoglobin inside it. Red blood cell RBC or carries of oxygen. Red blood cells carry oxygen from the lungs to all the cells of the body. Hemoglobin present in red blood cells carries oxygen in the blood. Hemoglobin performs a very important function of carrying oxygen from lungs to body tissues. Red blood cells are circular in shape.
Okay, thank you. So as she read, as the name indicates, red blood cells. Why red means it will be red in color due to the presence of hemoglobin pigment. So what does this hemoglobin do? When we see the structure of hemoglobin, guys, so the hemoglobin is made up of, protein which is called globin. Globin is a protein and this is a iron. Okay, so like this, each hemoglobin structure can carry 4 oxygen molecule. So hemoglobin has 2 functions. One is it gives red color due to the presence of iron in it, and it carries oxygen. So as hemoglobin carries oxygen, the main function of RBC becomes carrying of oxygen. It carry oxygen from the lungs to all the cells of the body, and then okay, it also carries the carbon dioxide rich blood from all the cells to the lungs. Like this, transportation of blood will be done by red blood cells. And here red blood cells are circular in shape. It is not a circular in shape. Red blood cells will be biconcave in shape. Biconcave means like this. You will learn this shape in biconcave lens in physics under the light chapter. So biconcave means the shape will be like this. So the inner one, it will be having the narrow space inside. At the edges, you can see the wider space. Why? Because it increases the surface area. ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿದ್ರೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ amount of oxygen can be transported ಅಂತ ಈ shape ಅಲ್ಲಿ. That is why the red blood cells are biconcave in shape. So you should write biconcave ಅಂತ. This is regarding the red blood cells. And when we come to the white blood cells, WBC, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ white ಅಂತ ಯಾಕೆ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ it does not have any hemoglobin. These cells will not be having any hemoglobin on it, so they are not red in color. So the main function of white blood cell is fight against the infection, fight against the diseases, and protecting us. That is the main thing. Okay, then white blood cells help to fight against the germs which entered inside the body and other foreign bodies. Foreign bodies andre other than our body, if any other body or a living organism comes inside us, they will fight against that living organism. Okay, it provides immunity. Immunity anta andre the process of fighting against diseases, the capacity of fighting against diseases will be given by white blood cells. So white blood cells ಅಲ್ಲಿ main thing ಏನಂದ್ರೆ the nucleus what is present na, the cells will be having nucleus. So the nucleus will be of different shape. So depending on the different shape of the nucleus, white blood cells are of these type: monocyte, eosinophil, lymphocytes, neutrophils. So these all are the types of WBCs or white blood cells. Understood this? All of you understood this?
Yes.
Panchami and Shreya, any doubt?
No doubts.
Okay,
No, ma'am.
fine. So what you guys do regarding WBC, RBC and platelets, you guys write down in the next session. Then we will complete transportation by the next session. Then we will be moving to excretion part. After excretion, you will be having the test. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then let me end up the session here because I have other session now. Any doubts here in this concept? Panchami, Shreya and Rihan, any doubts?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Let me end up the session here. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.